Okay, this video is a follow-up video to my Bruce Lee or Jeet Kune straight lead punch, the 4 variations. Now I'm going to show you how I like to practice the straight lead on the heavy bag. The heavy bag is my absolute favorite piece of equipment. Okay, I spend a lot of time. If I ain't sparring is the best. Okay, you got to spar. But if you ain't sparring, I spend a lot of time on the heavy bags. And there's many different variations of the heavy bag that you can use. Use whatever that makes you happy. Okay, so when it comes to protecting my hands when I'm practicing Jeet Kune or Bruce Lee style punches, you can go bare knuckle. All right, there's times I want to be able to practice that proper fist placement and toughen up and condition my hands. If you see in Bruce Lee's books, he had little white bags with like sand or beans or rice and those different textures inside those bags where he would condition his knuckles. And if you looked at his knuckles, his bottom 3 were really calloused up. Okay, what I like to do, especially if you're going to do a lot of heavy punching, if you hurt your hands, you can't train. Okay, if you have like an old canvas bag and that will just slice your knuckles up and you're bleeding and you can't train. If you can't train, then what's the point? Okay, if you hurt your hand, you can't train. So protect your hand. I like using, these are cheap little Century bag gloves, these old school bag gloves. All right, they have a little padding in it. Okay, I cut the thumbs out because I like to have my thumb wrap around. But these are the best. I spend a lot of my heavy bag work with these gloves on because it really conditions your knuckles, but adds that little padding so you're not scraping and scuffing up your knuckles, okay? So, how I like to, I work the 4 variations of the straight lead on the bag. So when I'm standing with the bag, okay, I might start a little closer and take a little step. Okay, I'm bringing it in, bringing it back, making sure I get that good pop. But don't forget that the straight lead is a speed punch, not so much a power punch, okay? Now, if I wanted to put more power on the straight lead, what I'll do is, instead of just boom, what I'll do is I'll hit with it and then bring it back. I'll square up a little more or cock it back a little bit more. And then you can put a lot more hip and body into it, okay? But at that point in time, you almost rather just hook to the head. So I might as well just throw it straight and then get the hip into the hook, okay? But we're not talking about the hook. So the first variation I'm gonna work on, remember I got my guardian hand up, shoulder up, my chin tucked, and my left heel is raised, because that's the piston, the driving force of the fighting stance, is that rear heel. Okay? I'm gonna take that little step in. The standard, just straight in with the straight lead. I might do a round, set a timer, or Bruce Lee used to do repetitions. If you see his fighting diaries or his training diaries, he'd have like 600 straight leads, 200 crosses, 400 hooks. Okay, you can do repetitions or you can just put a clock on. I like just putting a clock on. I don't want to do counting. I just want to focus on hitting. Okay, so I'm here. Remember that first variation, that stance, the gun sight, the on guard position. I got the guard in hand, this hand, the elbow's in, this one's aimed at my opponent. Try not to telegraph. Okay, make it simple and don't telegraph. The second variation is that outside. So I'm here, working that outside. Okay, then you got that inside. Remember, I'm hitting it and bringing it right back home. Okay, then you got the body. Once I can cycle through all 4 of the variations, then I can change my stance. Okay, I can change my stance. Maybe I'll start from that dragon's tail. More here, I got the guardian hand up and then firing it from the hip. Okay, that's the standard. Outside, inside, body jab. Okay. Maybe I'll do from more of a hand up position, okay, where I have both hands up more. Because I usually, when I'm sparring southpaw and I'm focusing on my Jeet Kune style of fighting, is I'll bounce between this one. Usually if I'm pressuring you, I'll lock it down like this and I'll come forward more like this, okay? Especially if you're kickboxing, if I want to stay on the outside and move around, I'll have my hands out a little bit. Okay, working that straight lead from the outside. Okay, or maybe I'm doing the dragon's tail. Okay, usually this, I'm working more attack by drawing. I'll do a separate video on Bruce Lee's 5 ways of attack. Okay, but maybe I'm setting something up. Maybe I'm here, I'm not seeing what I like. I might switch, but I'm always moving my head and my body. Okay, Bruce Lee stressed big time that you never should just be still. That lead hand should be moving, okay? It should be threatening your opponent, almost like a snake's tongue, okay? When I'm moving my hand in different positions, I call it the snake charmer. Like I'm trying to charm the snake with it, okay? I'm trying to be deceptive, keep you on the edge, okay? So I can do the straight lead from the different hand positions or stances. Once you get that down, you want to start doubling it up. You never just want to focus on throwing one. Why throw two punches when you could, one punch when you can throw two or three? Okay? When you're sparring Jeet Kune style, or like Bruce Lee, you're firing off that straight lead. Usually, I'm firing off my straight lead, hooking off the straight lead, uppercutting, throwing that back fist high and low, softening you up with that. Then I can set up my power shots when basically bringing my rear hand for the heavy artillery or for the knockout. Okay, so I might be playing with it, hitting with that straight lead, intercepting you. Okay, and then maybe I'll do attack by combination, boom, boom, and then boom, boom. Okay, work my attack by combination, then bounce back out, back to the straight lead. Okay, the straight lead's probably my favorite punch of all time. Okay, it took me a while to get it down. Okay, but to be able to be a master of the straight lead, you got to be a master of controlling the distance. If you can't control the distance between you and your opponent, and you have your hands down right here, you're gonna get clobbered. You got to master controlling the distance. If my opponent gets in too close to me, I have no shame. I will cover my head. Do a standard box and high guard, maybe cover, take some shots, and then get out. Okay? Because you're not going to be able to intercept every punch. Sometimes they might get the drop or the combination. You might have to cover or start moving your head. Okay? That's for another video. Okay? So when you're working the straight lead on the heavy bag, you want to start doubling it up. Okay? You're going to go low, high. You're going to go out, in. Okay? Or just pumping it. Remember, I've got that guarding hand ready. I got the guarding hand ready to parry or block any returning counter punches or whatever. Okay? So what I like about the straight lead is, unlike a boxing jab where it kind of comes back here, I almost hit and put a little circular motion in it. Okay? It reminds me of the wheels or I don't even know what you call it, on trains. You know, on a train, like an old school train. Okay? So it's almost like a piston pumping. A good word to say it is like I'm pumping the straight lead. I'm pumping it. So when I'm here, I might hit poof, like a simple direct attack or a simple angular attack. Okay? I'm just out here, poof, and then I might double it up. Poof, poof. So I start pumping it. I can start using my circle step on my footwork. I can use a circle step and pump the straight lead. Okay? Poof, 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 poof. Okay? I can use a circle step and go the other way with it. Poof, poof, poof. Okay? And then once you master all variations of the straight lead, then you start adding in feints. You're going to start faking it. Okay? More like progressive indirect attack. So this would be a direct attack, poof, just straight in, straight back. To make it an indirect attack, I might start low and then go high. And all the variations. I'll do another video on that. So that is the supplement video for the Bruce Lee straight lead punch on the heavy bag. I hope you learned something. Have a good day.